Were.
Oh boy,
Okay.
it's recording. Careful what you say.
Welcome to Grue, and thank you both so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
man, thank you.
Awesome. So, like, the first thing I wanted to start out is with you, Chris. What inspired you to write and make this amazing horror film that's out?
Well, it's a very complex story. Well, no, it's actually quite simple. In 2017, I was pitching for a TV show like all over these different networks, and it was kind of like the concept of the TV show was like a Twilight Zone meets Entourage, so it's kind of like Tinseltown satirical horror.
Nice.
And so I had all these concepts, like these log lines were different concepts, and I would just put together a whole list of them, and this concept was always like the one that people always circle that they always liked a lot because it was very makeable, and there was something kind of simple and pure about it, and it was kind of like this weird twisted love letter to actors and creatives and
your mom
and my mother, and they should have released it on Mother's Day. Like, I think that would have been a perfect time to release it.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Yeah. The remaster. But yeah, I mean, so like that's pretty much the straightforward story behind it. I mean, it did go even further back to like almost like 10 years ago, when just like the germ of just an idea about an actor, but it was actually called The Workshop. That was the original title, and but like that was such a different, more of like a comedy drama. That was such a different story, but it didn't start evolving into like more of a psychological horror until 2017, 2018, and then wrote it in like 2020.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And Tim, first off, love the stash.
Hey, I see you, Stash Brother. Thank you.
That would take me about 3 years to grow that.
This took a lot of sleep and dedication.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Like,
show them the super glue behind it.
Just comes.
Yeah, you have an actual thing. This is like missing. I dream about having a beard, never gonna happen, but you know what? That's what makeup's for. They can put beards on anyone, anywhere.
I would love to see a beard.
That's
on
true. You're right. Well, I wanted to ask you, like, what drew you to want to play Clayton?
Yeah. Well, it's close to home, right? It's an actor who's, navigating the struggles of being an actor. I think at all stages in this industry, you find challenges. So Clayton is on, his own little path to hopeful success. And more than anything, the character goes through so much throughout the entire script. And I think I could actually relate to him in a lot of ways, until maybe the end, maybe. But yeah, no, just a complex story with a complex character, and the opportunity to work with Chris and just, be in Mississippi and just explore everything that we could possibly explore with this character. Yeah, that was what drew me to playing Clayton.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I have to ask, are you keeping the stash, or are you shaving?
Yeah. This is actually, I'm keeping it for now. I'm working on something that this is being heavily featured. So this is the new me until what I'm shooting is done. And then my roommate / my boss, she's not my boss at all, is going to insist that I probably shave it off, which I gladly do. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. And what scene did you both love filming the most?
They might be different scenes. Chris, you go ahead and take the lead on this one, and I'll follow up.
What is the fit? Probably. I mean, it's probably. I mean, this is gonna sound. Tim, please don't take this wrong way, because it was your last day filming the movie. So it's not like I was like saying this is my favorite scene because I just wanted you
to suffer.
Gone. But
no,
actually, it actually technically was Tim's last day, but it was I thought the stuff in the acting class, I like just the stuff between him, pretty much all the stuff between Tim and Emil was kind of fun to, but like the repetition scene in the acting class, because that was literally the last thing we shot of the entire movie.
Okay.
And I'd just been wanting to put something like that on film for a long time, because I'm no stranger to doing that repetition exercise. It is a real exercise by Sanford Meisner that started it, and I did that exercise years ago with a lot of people, and it can be very intense actually and very emotional. So I always I never really saw that on screen before. So, and it was, when I saw it on, it's exactly the way him and Emil played it. I mean, it was spot on. Like that. I mean, like there's, oh my, I mean, like the stuff with like the elephant in the room with like the sex scene, like, because it was just yeah, I mean, those two scenes probably, and oddly enough, like the scene, the scene I just mentioned was like the last scene at the house, and then the first scene, the last scene of Tim, and also the last scene of the film. So there's something kind of emotional about those scenes, but also kind of very invigorating.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite was that for all those reasons. It was literally my last day shooting. They got me out of there early so I could catch a flight. And then standing across from Emil, screaming at him.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff was in the script. Some stuff was prompted by what Emil was doing, which I think worked perfect. But
yeah,
I think it's hard to say one scene. It all really just blurs together for me as one big long scene, because that's how it felt. I think any of the longer dialogue-y scenes with Rada at the table, like finding those moments, finding like the nuances in the conversation. And I think, yeah, any scene with Rada was my favorite, basically, especially when I choked her.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, I mean like actually yeah, I mean like the stuff with him and Rada was like just the stuff with him and Rada was so I think I love doing that stuff, because it was just, because there's nothing really like flashy about like the way those scenes are executed. There's something very simple about it, and I find that stuff is like, oh, thank God we could just sort of let the camera sit, keep it simple, two different lenses, 3 different lenses at the most, and just let them play. And and it was it was just like you're just watching the movie in real time. So that stuff was really fun.
And something we discussed early on is it felt like a play in a lot of ways. And acting for on camera or for television or film, you're usually stuck to the blocking. You're stuck to these movements. You have to be this play, but Chris did a good job of just setting the camera and letting us kind of explore and do whatever the hell we wanted to do, which was really fun from an actor's perspective, because usually you're just kind of bound to what you've done in the previous takes, or you have to match or whatever. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And Tim, I wanted to ask you, like, how do you prepare for this kind of role? And did you have to like look into demonology and all that too?
Chris took me out to the woods. He put a bag over my head.
Got really sadistic and very unsettling.
It's actually, I didn't do any of the demon prep before, because, I mean, I did a little bit just to be familiar, but I wanted to discover it as Clayton was discovering it. I wanted it to be as weird for me as it was for Clayton.
Yeah.
I think even when we got to the house and it was all decked out, we went over and I think the couple days before we started shooting, and Chris took us over to the house, Rod and I only wanted to see certain parts because I wanted to discover the house as Clayton was discovering it. So the preparation mostly was in the intricacies of Clayton's mind and what he was going through and his backstory. And then a lot of it is discovered, and it's almost like the movie's almost like a big long therapy session for Clayton. So he had to be fine, he had to just learn all of this in real time as the audience is learning it with him.
Oh wow, okay, nice.
Yeah.
And Chris, like I read online, like you had a hard time finding an area to film at. Like, where did you wind up filming at?
Well, we filmed pretty much the entire movie in Mississippi, with the exception of like 5%. But like we shot the house, and as well as Clayton's apartment in Gulfport, Mississippi, and then we shot the acting studio, acting class, all that in a town called Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And yeah, I mean, it was tricky because like, we spent such a long, during like kind of soft pre-production, we were trying to look at, we were planning on shooting California. We were budgeting for California. It was way too expensive, like minimum $2,000 a day for a house, like minimum, like that was like a good deal. And so like it was just kind of absurd. Then we were looking at like tax incentive states. We were looking at talking to some people in Oklahoma at one point, and then upstate New York at one point, that even New Jersey, where I'm from, which has actually a really healthy tax incentive, which is relatively recent. And then ultimately we just went to Mississippi because we had a connection out there that we could funnel the financing through to get the tax incentive, and it kind of worked out well. But yeah, Mississippi was awesome. I mean, it was really like special to like find a lot of local crew and some local talent as well to be like extras and a couple day players, and they were just, because like you live in LA, you live in New York. I mean, like people just, when they think about like, oh, you're making a movie, oh, that's cool. Like they don't really think too much of it. But when you go to Mississippi, it's like the magic's still alive, and people really go berserk about wanting to be involved, and they love it. So that was really cool. That was a exciting experience for sure. I loved the experience of making this movie. It was arguably in my top 3 favorite experiences of all time.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're from Jersey. I'm actually in Philadelphia. So
Very cool. Yeah, one of our producers is actually 2 of our producers. Tim, Joe Gallagher, he's a Philly guy, and DJ Dodd, he's Philly. So yeah, it was a lot of East Coast people that actually were on the producing team, and so it was cool to kind of go back to my roots and kind of have that East Coast sensibility.
awesome, man. Awesome. So what do you both love most about doing horror films, about being in the horror world?
Tim, you want to go?
Yeah. Dying every single movie I'm in. No. I think there's a couple things. The horror genre, the people who follow horror, love horror, are very they're passionate. So I think the stakes are high. So I think that's always fun. But there's also this freedom to kind of experiment and try some super weird stuff that you might not get in other films. Yeah, the texts I'm getting from my friends still are funny, but yeah, no, horror is fun. I mean, like, yeah, it's just the freedom to play and just experiment, and especially when this was an indie horror film, so everyone was there for all the right reasons, and yeah, it was a good time.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, I mean, horror films are definitely like the kind of genre that kind of introduced me to movies. So I mean, I consider myself to be pretty literate on the genre as far as like just knowledge of horror films. But yeah, I mean, Devil's Workshop is an interesting film, because it's I do very much consider it to be a horror film for sure, but it's not like you're it's not, I think it's a different kind of experience, because it's sort of like a kind of almost like a dark comic drama, and then it kind of becomes like this, but it has like these like weird horror undertones throughout it that kind of like keep you in check, and but I think it's sort of like its own species, and maybe because I just did like a couple like very like hardcore like splatter movies back to back, so I just with this movie I just wanted to make it more like far more like restrained. I think a little bit more like a 70s type of classiness to it, and with kind of like a modern edge to it, and make it more about more of like a performance driven movie, like a character driven movie that kind of evolves into something more horrific.
Sweet. Nice.
But I love horror movies. I love them. Big fan.
Oh yeah, same. You can see I got my Pennywise hat. So.
Oh yeah, there's a place across the street where I'm at right now that like there's someone put up a bunch of balloons by like a sewer, which is pretty hilarious. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they like attached all these balloons, red balloons, to a sewer, and
That's cool.
it was well played. It was well played.
Nice. And this film had like a paranormal vibe to it too. And I wanted to ask the both of you if you guys ever experience anything like that outside of the film, like in real life, if you experience any paranormal stuff.
Then don't you have like an amazing story about like a place you stayed at or something that you were telling me about?
I had, it's all right. I'm gonna preface this story with, I have a imaginative, curious, and very vulnerable mind, especially when I'm sleepy. But I was visiting my brother in Prague. He was studying abroad, and he was staying in this really old like building that had been converted to a dormitory. And I was staying in a room down the hall, and it was haunted. I convinced myself it was haunted, but I was sleeping at one point, and I had these really like visceral dreams, but this one in particular just stuck with me. And it's so cliche, but it was in my dream seeing this lady in white, and she like goes to grab me, and as she like grabs me and lifts me up, I literally like wake up out of bed like this, like straight up.
Serious?
It freaked me out to the point where I like turned on the TV, and I was just like, it's weird cable over there, and so then I made my brother stay in the room with me. The rest of the time I was there, a grown adult, making my brother sleep in the bed next to me. It's true.
Wow. Okay.
Fear is real.
Who knows what that is though?
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
I wish I had a story as amazing as that, but I don't really have like. I did do a podcast where like they asked me to like, it was called Haunted AF Podcast, and they asked me to think their hook was their guest to have a paranormal story that I had nothing. I've never experienced like a real legitimate. I mean, the only thing that like my dad lives in a house from the 1700s, and he's lived there since I was like 13 or so,
Okay.
and the house like I've suspected like I've heard someone like coming up the stairs and there's no one there or something. Or like every time you spend the night there, and every time you spend the night there at night, there's always kind of weird things.
Who made you drop that pen?
Yeah, what? It was a water bottle.
Ghost. The pen snatcher.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I guess like just like the house, my dad's house is like George Washington's soldiers live there, so I mean it has to be haunted, right? I mean like there has to be, and I've definitely heard people coming up those stairs and not and there was literally no one there, so that's all I got. Sorry.
Okay, that's definitely something.
Yeah.
Spooky.
But I will say there was a production assistant that quit our movie like 2 days into it because the content of the film was he felt was disrespectful to his religious beliefs. And I just, when I heard that, I thought that was like the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I was like, this is amazing. Like, it was just such a great, what a great story to tell people.
Yeah, I know, exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. And I always ask guests this when I had them on, was there any like cool behind the scenes stories that happened while you both were filming this?
Yeah, I mean, there was well there was like, there's a scene that involves a goat that there was a wrangler that was supposed to bring two goats, one big goat and one small goat, and he brought and the scene was supposed to be way more like convoluted, a lot more things going on, and it's just like a classic case of like keeping it simple is always like, I think, overall more effective, and so he brought these two goats, and this guy was kind of like, he's not, he wasn't like the best wrangler, and like the big goat just completely ran off, and he was like, well, that's it, and the guy just couldn't get a hold of it, and so we had to use just the one small goat, and we had to completely simplify the whole scene, and so it was pretty but it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, actually, because it kind of worked out nicely. But so that was, and then the guy next door to us was drunk all the time and almost drove his truck into our camera gear.
He's a legend.
Yeah, legend. Absolute legend.
Wow. And how about you, Tim? Do you have any like cool stories from the set?
You know, uh, we actually were on set. It was my first day. I arrived, and one of our producers picked me up, Joe. And I happened to be, I flew into New Orleans. I happened to be St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, did you know that you flew me to New Orleans on St. Patrick's Day? He's like, yeah, should we go to Bourbon Street? And I was like, yeah. So first day of the shoot, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. We went to Bourbon Street and just explored. It's an interesting place. We didn't stay very long, but yeah. I mean, the rest of the shoot was a lot of it in that house. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure tons of weird micro moments that we're forgetting that took
Yeah.
place there, but it felt like a weird fever dream.
Yeah, definitely a fever dream now. Like the movie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And with Halloween coming up, are you both dressing up for Halloween this year? And what are you going to be?
Chris?
I don't really
Don't say it.
I don't really dress. I don't really dress
Oh
up.
my gosh, what?
I mean, I don't. I actually. I mean,
All right.
funny because I
See.
Tim, I actually have to go to Nick Taylor's Halloween party tomorrow night.
Oh, fun! And you're gonna go as?
I'm gonna wear a name tag that says, "Hi, my name is Jim."
So you're gonna be Jim.
I'm gonna be Jim. Yeah, and I just think that's funny. I just think that's a funny joke. I mean, like most people, I did it once before, and most people did not get it or find it funny. But there were a couple people that chuckled.
I find it funny.
Yeah, I think it's
There you go. Hey,
Tim strikes me as someone that really does it up when he dresses.
I like Halloween. I'm usually a last minute throw it together kind of guy, and it works out. But I think this year, I think I'm gonna be a shower curtain, and what I mean by that is
very complex.
I know it is. You take a shower and you have a curtain and it just keeps pushing in on you and you're like, gosh, a shower curtain won't leave me alone. I'm just going to bother everyone at the party I'm going to by bumping up against them as
that's
a shower curtain. Is that not good?
No, I mean, like, I think people would appreciate that.
Okay, good.
Would find that fun.
It's an old shower curtain. I'm going to use my shower curtain.
Okay, that's the hardcore DIY.
Okay.
Got to preserve that.
Does it pass the check? All right.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll be that girl.
Yeah.
You see, we're talking about ghosts and spirits. The light just went off in the room I'm sitting in.
Oh, are you serious?
You look like you're on America's Most Wanted, like giving a testimonial about that kidnapping.
Your voice is all deep. What are you gonna be? What are you gonna be for Halloween?
I am. Let me see if I could.
A shadow in the dark.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like the light's not going back on, but okay,
It's haunted, man. Holy cow. What if this was a movie right here? What if all of a sudden,
I know, it's weird. Like the light just went out. I just hit the button, turn it back on, and it won't go on. So
oh my God, what is that behind you? See?
Oh my God,
that happened.
It's like Red App Unfriended.
But for me, I'm gonna be Pennywise the Clown for Halloween. Like this is the first time I'm gonna dress up as him. I usually do like something spooky like Jason, Freddy, Michael, Chucky, but this year I'm going to be Pennywise.
Nice. That's almost creepier.
You should be Art the Clown from Terrifier.
Oh my God, I know, right? That movie is crazy.
Tim, have you seen
I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
I just saw Terrifier too. I mean, like it's
very
I'm really happy that like we have like a hardcore slasher movie that's actually doing well, because it feels like it's our modern day Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And I'm because I love slasher movies. I'm obsessed with them. So I mean, my friend was a victim in the original short film of Terrifier like 10 years ago. So Art and I go a long way. We go way back.
Oh wow, nice.
You're next on the list then. Watch out.
I would love to get killed by Art the Clown.
Careful what you wish for, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in a slasher movie, I would definitely be one of the early victims for sure.
You're the guy who has all the information but dies immediately.
Absolutely, 100%. I'd be like, yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm sure they're gonna make Terrifier 3, and if they do, you should get a hold of them to be one of the on-screen deaths.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be like a sweepstakes that they're gonna be a victim in Terrifier 3.
Yeah. If to sign a
Well,
waiver, you might actually.
well, I don't know if you know, like for Terrifier 2, they actually wrote a part for the wrestler
Right.
Chris Jericho, because he
Yeah,
has
yeah.
like a cameo in it,
He's in
and
the
they
end.
actually wrote the part just for him to play it.
All right, so let's push for you, Chris, to
Yeah, I
be
mean,
written.
yeah, I mean, it's it was an, yeah, he's in like the end, but he's let's just say I'll do a better job than Chris Jericho.
There you go. Okay, there
Be
you
careful,
go.
man. You might find yourself in an arm lock pretty soon.
Yeah, and like Johnny Drama going up against Chuck Liddell.
Yeah. And are you guys watching any horror films for Halloween season? Like, what are some of your go-tos for Halloween season?
Oh, that's a really good question.
That is a good question. I mean, while we were in Mississippi, we saw X, which was
So
fun.
X, yeah,
That
big
was
fan.
very enjoyable. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Like watching Halloween movies like this month, right? Like
Yeah.
go to Halloween movies. Oh God, I there's like so many. I'm just trying to think of like like a perfect couple. I mean, Dead Snow. You ever see Dead Snow?
Yes, I did. That's
Tim,
awesome.
have you seen Dead Snow?
I haven't seen it.
It's amazing.
Is
It's
it-
foreign, but it's
Yeah.
like it's phenomenal. Like it's just one of the best like zombie or horror. It's like it's like total horror comedy, but it's like these kids that go to this like ski resort cabin and they just start getting picked out by these like Nazi zombies.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
But it's like it's really funny. Like it's genuinely funny, but it's really like actually kind of scary. Like it actually is pretty scary. It's such a ridiculous concept, but like it's the zombie Nazis are not taken like lightly. They're taken very, very seriously, which makes it really scary. I mean,
Wait, did it come out recently?
no, it came out like 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like a cult classic.
Oh yeah.
I love how Rocco's just in the. Is it Rocco?
No.
Yeah. All right, yeah. It's just in the dark.
Yeah, this is
I know.
can be very uncomfortable.
I don't know, because I'm doing this at my work, and I'm in one of the rooms, and all of a sudden the light just went off, and now I can't get it back on, so I don't know what's going on.
It's an aesthetic choice. You can justify anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Look, I'm in the dark too.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you know, I have to say this is like the first interview I've done where I'm talking in a pitch dark room.
We're honored.
Yeah, we are honored. We are honored. This is gonna go down.
And I'm gonna ask like another question, and that's it. If you two were out, I mean, I know both you love music like everyone else. So if you two were out at a bar getting drunk doing karaoke, what would be your song?
Oh man.
Yes, I feel it.
Oh man, God. What the? Oh God, that's such a.
I'm referring to my karaoke list.
Let me.
Because I forget when it's time.
I'm looking at.
Oh man, this is a good list. All right, the most recent number 8 on the list is "Hero" by Enrique Iglesias.
Nice.
That
is, yeah, you can plan on seeing that at some point.
I think I'll go with I think I'll go with "Water Under the Bridge" by Adele. I will belt that song out.
You can sing loud.
I'll belt it. She's got some great lungs.
Why don't you face that way and give us a little taste?
I mean, it's a performance.
Yeah. You're not
I can't just abruptly do it.
I get it.
You know? I have to like take a shot. You know, I have to do a whole thing.
Warm up.
Yeah. Like, how now, brown cow?
What about you? What's your karaoke song?
Me, actually, I try to do a song where the crowd could actually sing to, because my voice is hard.
That's important.
yeah, like I'll do you shook me all night long, or Journey song, you know, like one of those songs
Our
that
favorite.
everyone knows the words to.
Yep. See, that's the key to your success, is a song that other people can yell along to.
Exactly. While sitting in the dark room singing, right?
It's so spooky. Oh, there you are. You look spooky.
Wow, now you're sort of like in this. You're in this like alternative universe now.
What if he's like merging with her?
Yeah, you're kind of like, yeah, this is
Oh, that's it. He's gone. He's all the way.
Yeah, but I can't get this light on. Like I went in front of the light and turned the switch on and off. I put my hand in front of the thing, and still I guess the bulb burned out in here because no one ever uses this room. I don't know.
That's spooky.
bulbs are
Chris,
important.
now you got a story to tell next time they ask you. This is it right here.
Exactly.
Don't underestimate the power of a light bulb.
That's cool.
I know, right? Exactly. It's
Or
crazy.
ghost with a ladder.
Yeah, I mean, like you ever like it's the worst when you come into your bedroom and like all of a sudden like the light bulb just like goes out, and all of a sudden like I don't have any light in my room now. It's a very weird feeling.
Run into the wall.
It's happened to me a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just don't really change it for like 24 hours for some reason.
Buy more expensive light bulbs.
Yeah.
I know that's it. Yeah, exactly. Or you know, you're at your job trying to do an interview and the light just shuts out on you and the bulb breaks. So you know those kind of things happen.
That is so funny and on theme.
So, where could fans see the movie at? Stream it, buy it on DVD and Blu-ray and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be on DVD and Blu-ray November 8th. But before that, it's it's pretty much like everywhere you can buy rent movies, Amazon, Vudu, all that stuff. I mean, iTunes everywhere. So yeah, pretty much everywhere you can rent movies.
Awesome. And I'm gonna end it with this final question, and you know, I have to ask this, or the fans would kill me if I don't ask this. For Tim, do you have any favorite moments from 13 Reasons Why?
Oh, so many fond memories. I think it would honestly probably be my very first day on set. I read for a couple different characters and figured it was a long shot for me to get on the show. And then Monty came around and I ended up getting that role. So I flew up to San Francisco and I get to set and I run into Justin Prentice, who plays Bryce Walker, and we had only known each other from the audition rooms. We had run into each other and we'd kind of become buddies. It's like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. You're here for this creepy role. I'm here for this creepy role, because we have something about our faces. And that kind of moment set up the tone for the next like 3.5 years of my life on that show, which was just, I mean, I can't replace that. It was 13 was amazing for me. Yeah.
Did you work with Greg Araki at all?
I did.
Or no, he did. You
Yes,
did. Okay, yeah.
He did a couple episodes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He was like one that. Yeah, that's awesome.
He's a director. We had block schedules, so we did 2 episodes at a time with different directors. So we'd have 2 episodes, one director, and then switch to the next director for the next 2. But yeah, Greg did a couple throughout the couple seasons. I think he did 2 blocks.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We had a lot of amazing directors, but. Yeah.
Sweet.
Shout out to all my 13 Reasons Why fans. Woo!
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on the show, and I apologize for getting put in the dark towards the last 10 minutes or whatever it was, and I. So thanks again for coming.
It makes it for a very surreal interview, I have to admit.
I like it. It's fun. I liked your face, but I like this too. So
Yeah.
This is the best of both worlds. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rocco.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Cool. Have a good night.
Yeah, and on that note.
All right, Rocco.
All right.
Thanks again.
Is it ending or are we okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'll see you, man.
Bye. All right, hit them and